Hello and a very good evening. You're with Primetime News. I'm Dasani Athada for News First, and let's start off with a look at your headlines.
Unity government will continue until Supreme Court gives determination. Deputy Speaker Thilanga Sumathipala tells Parliament. Joint opposition reiterates government has no mandate. Minister S.B. Dissanayake clarifies position of the SLFP and UPFA. Elam will not bloom on account of us, but on account of your lotus bud. Opposition leader warns former president. Multi-faith religious leaders call on politicians to think about the country's future and make a correct decision.
වැරදි කරන කිසි කෙනෙක් මම රකින්න ලෑස්ති නැහැ.
වෙන කණ්ඩායමක් ආවොත් මේ නිදහස නැති වෙනවා.
අද ඩොලරය 159යි.
මේගොල්ලෝ සුදු කරපටි මංකොලකාරී.
මම ඇමරිකානු පුරවැසියෙක්.
On to stories in detail now. In the wake of the recent local government elections, a political crisis is looming in the country. During the debate in Parliament today, opposition leader Arsam Bandhan accused former President Mahinda Rajapaksa of engaging in malicious, vicious and false propaganda.
There have been 3 elections in recent times. In none of these elections has President Rajapaksa been able to obtain more than 50%. So there's nothing to get excited about. But I was quite alarmed when quite early in the campaign, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, he said that sometimes the election could result in Tamil Elam blooming after the local authority elections if the people are not careful. My party talked of a political solution within the framework of an undivided single country. We only talked of a solution that is acceptable to our people. That was the propaganda we carried out in all our areas. And when we did that, how dare President Rajapaksa say that Elam could bloom after the election? Because I want everybody in this country to know that it was malicious, vicious, false propaganda on the part of President Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Podujana party. And if you persist in this agenda, I want to tell you, Elam will bloom, not on account of us, on account of your lotus bud.
A 3-hour debate was held in Parliament this evening on the current political situation in the country. MP Dinesh Gunawardena submitting a document containing the signatures of 20 MPs seeking a Parliament debate this morning, while a leader of the House, Minister Lakshman Kiriyala, opposed the move and the Speaker decided to convene a party leaders meeting. Now, following a decision reached at the meeting, the debate on the political crisis began at 4 p.m. While the joint opposition had posed questions since this morning on whether the UPFA had decided to quit the unity government at this evening's debate, Deputy Speaker Thilanga Sumathipala responded.
The UPFA, which is part of the national government, requested the President's permission to move away from the national government. The President told us we should seek legal advice. The Attorney General's advice was that it was difficult to provide a reading on such a situation. The Attorney General told the President to get a determination from the Supreme Court. This afternoon, the UPFA members on the ruling side met with the President and engaged in discussions once more. The President's request was to remain in the government and keep the government stable until he gets a determination from the Supreme Court. There was an SMS message that went out with my name, so I am confirming it. I don't think there were any UPFA members in Parliament today. That was because this group had received advice to act as one unit and move ahead.
Heated verbal exchanges were seen in Parliament today during the debate on the political crisis. Here are a few excerpts.
This government, which was in power for 3 years, has been clearly defeated and rejected. While the people have given such a ruling, the government is clinging on to power. Listen to the people's voice and call for a general election. We cannot provide you with oxygen. The country cannot supply you with oxygen. It's time now to gracefully exit.
The
people have taught us a good lesson. We accept that, but the government has not been defeated. We have gotten more votes than we did on the 8th of January. Our percentage has increased from 51 to 55%. This is the time they end up in prison because of their court cases. They are asking the government to resign just because we lose a local government election. This is an incredible story. Who gives up the government because of such an election? We took on a personal risk to get the Yahapalanya elected. We will not stop this journey. We will join hands with all our friendly forces, correct our mistakes and continue on this journey.
Prime Minister David Cameron didn't stay in power after losing Brexit. He resigned from his position because his stance was rejected during the referendum. There is no point in speaking highly of the Westminster system in English. There is no point if they don't bring down the good aspects of their system. There is no point in making foolish statements. Listen to the people's voice and leave office.
If this is a local government election, we are ready to accept defeat. But if you call this a referendum, keep in mind that you need over 50% of the votes to win a referendum. Those who made this a referendum have lost. Some are preparing to topple governments after the local government election, but we can clearly see that they want to come into power to safeguard themselves against the numerous court cases that are there. They are trying to use this election as an excuse to come into power and hide those cases. This is the truth.
What was the result of the January 8th election? It was not a miracle that was caused by either Maithripala Sirisena or Ranil Wickremesinghe. This was a growing opposition against the then regime. Both of them failed to meet the needs of that political force. The JVP stands for this political force, and we are prepared to do anything with the people of the country.
We will act according to the law. We believe that our Prime Minister has a majority. We heard last night that a gazette will be released cancelling the cabinet. There are no provisions for this in the constitution. We hope to undertake a massive reform process of our party. We will definitely do it. If we don't, we will have to face a major issue politically.
Earlier in the day, Sri Lanka Muslim Congress leader Rauf Hakeem and Tamil National Alliance parliamentarian M.A. Sumandiran spoke on the current situation in the government.
When the government seems weak, that is when it seems that consensus is possible. So today, that is why I say maybe an opportune day to actually adopt these new standing orders that have been presented to the House on a day when the country and even this Parliament seems unsure as to what governance will look like tomorrow in this country. It was necessary to have a new set of standing orders because the one that we are working with even today is so old that most of those provisions had even become obsolete and unworkable.
But if all parties who are supposed to be forming an administration must in the first place be prepared to take executive office. If one party is not taking executive office, and if we are going to run by proxy or by having a minority government, that is going to be the and we are violating the own mandate that we got. So those who decided to form a government, as far as Sri Lanka Muslim Congress is concerned, I must say very categorically that that we would only be part of a stable government, a government which is not going to have substantial majority. It will be a total violation of the mandate that we got to serve the people.
Staying in news from the Parliament, the parliamentary group of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party met with President Maithripala Sirisena this afternoon.
The current political crisis was discussed extensively at the meeting which was held at the Presidential Secretariat.
Sri Lanka
The SLFP and UPFA will move ahead unfazed. No one will cross over. We all decided to make a drastic change within the government. We made the request from the relevant factions and the response wasn't very good. Our comrades of the SLFP and UPFA have expressed their willingness to work with us. So we will function accordingly. That is an alternative, and it remains. We do not like to talk about the numbers, but I am certain we have the strength. We are not just scraping through with 113 members. We have informed the relevant people of the President's objectives which were discussed. If the relevant parties and people do not agree with them, we will do what is needed. I do not like to mention who it was for, but we will stick with the President as a team. No, it won't. We will speak to the cabinet tomorrow. All the changes we wanted to make will happen.
Parliamentarians representing the joint opposition group convened a media briefing at the Parliament complex today.
An
MP from the UNP told us today that if we think that the person who did not leave the leadership of the UNP after 29 election defeats will leave the position of Prime Minister after one election loss, then we are mistaken. The insect that creeps into the sugar jar will never leave it. However, considering the risk that he may sting their fingers, everyone must get together and get the insect out of the sugar jar.
The Prime Minister attempted yesterday to secure the signatures of 113 MPs to say they had confidence in him. The current Prime Minister cannot secure the support of 113 members in this Parliament without the support of the TNA. Thereby, this attempt has failed. As a result, this Prime Minister has become a Prime Minister without a simple majority in Parliament.
They say that this is a local government election and therefore there should be no change whatsoever in Parliament. To the gentlemen who keep mentioning examples of Western countries on this point, we say the Prime Minister of the UK resigned following a referendum. It was not stated anywhere in the law that he should resign following that referendum, but he did not consider the law. He considered public will.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa spoke to the media when leaving the parliamentary complex following the debate this morning.
We will ask for the position of opposition leader. The Prime Minister is most likely to remain the same. That is an issue between the United National Party and Maithripala Sirisena. But what we've told them is that we will give our support from the outside if an SLFP MP is made Prime Minister. But we will not do it if anyone from the UNP is appointed. I hope we get a suitable position as the opposition.
Religious leaders have expressed their views on the current political crisis in the country.
At this point of time, everyone should resolve this crisis through discussions. The President and Prime Minister should engage in discussions with other seniors such as former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to ensure that the country can move ahead with stability and unity. They should act in an exemplary manner and provide an example to other world leaders as well. The ruling party must focus its attention on the people because it is clear that they are living amidst many difficulties. So we call on the ruling party to stop debating and start discussions in order to move this country forward towards a brighter future.
The time has come for politicians to see beyond political lines and work for the betterment of the people of this country. They should set aside their personal agendas and act in a way which will inspire public confidence. The people need a stable government. I humbly make this request to the President and Prime Minister of our country.
We had an election in our country, but it was not one which was to change the government. It was an election to fix our villages and towns. The election was aimed at electing smart and talented people from their own areas. However, this election is now being perceived in a different way. The general public has gotten to know, especially through the media and other reports, that no work has been done over the past week. Now they should work together to establish these local governments. They have done this before as well. They should work together and when the time comes, hold an election. If there is a peaceful situation in the country, it will be a great boom for the country.
ඒක රටට කරන විශාල උපකාරයක්.
It's time they stopped political infighting in order to secure power and work together and resolve this for the sake of the people of this country. Everyone should unite and put their love for the country first. They should work together to protect and develop this country. The president has finished his first few years in office and has several more to go. Everyone should work together with the president in order to resolve this.
සියලුම පක්ෂ සාධාරණව කටයුතු කරන්න කියලා තමයි අපිට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ.
බලක් කපලා ඒ වලින් වතුර අරගෙන අපි ජීවත් වෙන්නේ හරියකට නෑ. වතුර බේසන දෙකක් අරගෙන දාගන්න. එච්චරයි මහත්තයා.
Gammadda travelled from door to door to lend a helping hand to those in need. Seeing the distress among the people, Gammadda raised the issue at the United Nations. The journey did not end there. Gammadda took matters into its own hands, bringing a ray of hope to rural Sri Lanka. Gammadda, by the people, for the people.
Gammadda, by the people, for the people. Now, why are we speaking about Gammadda today? Well, the reason is because we are very excited about an initiative that we will be opening on Wednesday. We will be declaring open a massive community hall in the Anuradhapura area. The Newsfirst team will be traveling there tomorrow itself to make all the preparations, final preparations for this project opening, which we are very excited about. Now, Gammadda is something that we began in 2016. We, the journalists of Newsfirst, we got tired of just reporting the news, reporting the issues that are facing the people of this country. So we took an initiative to travel around the country. We traveled from door to door together with the University of Peradeniya to find out what are the issues that are plaguing the people, what are the key issues that the people of this country face. And together with the University of Peradeniya, we were able to document the main issues that the people of this country face. And we documented it all in this book. This is the Gammadda report for 2016, the first report that we created. Through this report, we were able to categorize the key issues faced by the people of this country in numerous areas, numerous districts, numerous villages around the country that we traveled to. For example, if I can show you this, this is for the Hambantota district. The main issue is the human-elephant conflict. If you flip over to the Polonnaru area, you'll see water issues, you'll see infrastructure problems. These are the true issues that the people faced. Now, did we stop here? No. After creating this report, we couldn't stay silent. We knew that the people of this country needed solutions. So what we did do, we gave this report to the government. We took it to the international arena, we took it to the United Nations as well in order to seek solutions for the people of this country who have been plagued desperately in need of help. But the help was slow, so we took matters into our own hands. We got down to business and we started the Gammadda 100 Days Initiative. Why did we start the Gammadda 100 Days Initiative? Because of the overwhelming requests that came to us when we were going on this door-to-door campaign. Let's just have a listen to what some of the requests that were made to us were.
We are now in Mahavillava. We do not have a road. We face many issues because of wild elephants.
Water is one of our main issues. We don't have access to clean drinking water.
We have a large number of patients suffering with kidney disease.
We can't travel after 6 because of the wild elephant. The Dhamma school in the temple doesn't even have a board to teach. Sirasa will be blessed if you help us.
These are just a few of the requests that came to us before we started this initiative back in 2016. Well, we didn't stop there. When we started the Gammadda 100 Days project, as we were completing projects, as it was gaining momentum, we began to receive more and more requests from the general public. And we understood that there were areas that even we couldn't visit during our initial door-to-door program that we launched in 2016. So we undertook a second initiative, the Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign number 2, and we created this, the Gum at the Report 2017, which is very similar to the Gum at the Report of 2016, but the issues that this report highlights is completely different, because the issues that we highlighted here are issues which we could not focus our attention on during the initial door-to-door campaign. Now, people might not have expected this from a media institution like us. I mean, after all, which media institution goes to a village and fixes a road or fixes a roof in a community hall? We took it upon ourselves because it seemed like the work that we wanted to be done for the people was a bit slow. Now, we merely took the lead, that is all. It was the people who did this for themselves. It was the people who came with us, who did the hard labor, who made sure that their needs were met. We were the facilitators. They were the people who accomplished this for themselves. Now, as the requests that came in grew, so did the people who wanted to support this initiative. We had major donors coming in, organizations like MAS Holdings or Brandix and many other organizations that came in to support us. There were also plenty of other people who came in to make small donations in whatever way they can, because they wanted to help this beautiful initiative that was blossoming. Let's listen to what some of these donors had to say before we move on.
It's a very good idea, a good program. I don't think there was ever something like this in Sri Lanka. Now by doing this, I think there will be a massive service rendered to a lot of people. This is something only Sirasa can do. Sirasa helped the citizens of this country whenever they were in need. So at a time when residents of Minuwangoda are struggling with floods, we invited the media network to join us help these people. We hope News First will be able to continue this endeavor.
Now, what are the problems that people in rural Sri Lanka face? It is not the same problems that you and I faced here in Colombo. Issues like not having proper schools or the school buildings being dilapidated. Issues like not having an access road to a hospital, an access road to your village. Issues as small as a water line connecting a water tower to a few houses in your village. These are the small issues, these are the types of issues that plague our rural community. And through the Gum at the 100 Days program, we were able to help some of this. And afterwards, with major donors coming in, with more donors coming in, we launched phase 2 of the Gum at the project, which was the Gum at the Vedadahasak or 1000 projects initiative, which is still silently going on. Let's listen to some of the people who benefited from the Gum at the initiative, and then let's talk.
I have to put my hands together in prayer for this job that they have done. They have accomplished something significant.
By doing something of this nature, the Sirasa channel has brought upon itself great merit.
As I said, we haven't stopped there. The Gum at the initiative continues to march forward by the people, for the people. We will have more about the Gum at the initiative tomorrow, and keep in mind, we will be coming to Anuradhapura the day after tomorrow. It's back to Dasuni in the news studio.
Concerns are growing for the welfare of wild elephants wandering into the Puakpale Reserve in Bibila to consume garbage.
Garbage gathered from different areas in Bibila are thrown into this reserve, and elephants move towards the garbage site as soon as they hear the sounds of garbage tractors move from the Bibila town. It is also reported that elephants then wander into villages, which leave villagers with no option except to shoot the elephants. Our sources reported a recent incident where an elephant was seriously injured when he was shot. The Wildlife Department veterinarians are currently taking care of the injured animal. However, villagers allege wildlife officials from the Uva and central provinces are frightened of the animal and so avoid treating them. We have had this elephant issue for a long time. Because they have no food, they come here to eat the garbage from the city. This has only happened in recent times. We could lose a valuable asset. More and more elephants come and consume garbage. Elephants show up every day when we come to dispose garbage. When the tractor arrives, elephants show up from nowhere. Once we raise a bit more, they leave and then they come back.
Sri Lanka cricket coach Chandika Hatharisinghe addressed a press conference today and expressed his thoughts on the team's performance following their return from Bangladesh.
We knew that we had capability to come back. What happened in the first two games, the opposition played really good cricket and we took time to get used to the condition. A little bit we overdid certain things that tactically, so we came back and corrected them in the next two games. See the same team every time. Maybe it depends on the opposition, depending on the condition and what we want to achieve. So it's all about flexibility with the team, and we have communicated to the players well, and they know what their roles are. So that's what's going to be in the future. So we are preparing all the players to do their roles best they can, and we are trying to find the best position and time that they can perform best for their skill set.
In another reminder, during the debate in Parliament today, opposition leader R. Sambandhan accused former President Mahinda Rajapaksa of engaging in malicious, vicious and false propaganda. And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Dasnia Thadar. Good night.
There have been 3 elections in recent times. In none of these elections has President Rajapaksa been able to obtain more than 50%. So there's nothing to get excited about. But I was quite alarmed when quite early in the campaign, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, he said that sometimes the election could result in Tamil Elam blooming after the local authority elections if the people are not careful. My party talked of a political solution within the framework of an undivided single country. We only talked of a solution that is acceptable to our people. That was the propaganda we carried out in all our areas. And when we did that, how dare President Rajapaksa say that Elam could bloom after the election? But I want everybody in this country to know that it was malicious, vicious, false propaganda on the part of President Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Podiyana party. And if you persist in this agenda, I want to tell you, Elam will bloom, not on account of us, on account of your lotus bud.